Hey folks, I'm going to start a big project today, and I thought I'd show you guys how I'm going to do it. So in case anybody else wants to do it, they're free to. I'm going to be converting this 22-ton log splitter into a forging press. New, a 20-ton forging press runs about $7,000. I managed to pick this thing up, a once used log splitter, for I think I gave $8.50, and I've already bought my steel, which was $50, and I bought some really heavy welding rods, so I've got a total of $9.50 in it. So anyway, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this head off, and I'll show you some more about the modifications we're going to do to it, because I figure I might as well use this thing. One of the reasons I bought this particular unit came from Northern, is that I like the fact that the head wraps around the I-beam. We're going to wind up making a few other modifications, which is to eliminate some of the slop. We'll tighten up that the space in between on this head. I haven't decided if I'm going to weld in spacers or if I'm just going to put in beads, but we're going to cut off part of this and mount an anvil to this part of the head. So anyway, hope you guys stick around, and we'll be back with next part. Hey folks, I thought I'd give you guys show you where I'm at on converting this log splitter into a forging press. So obviously I've cut the spike or the splitter off of the head, and I've also added 2 grease fittings. Flip this thing upside down and I'll show you. I've also added a grease track between the grease fittings. So the ends fit right over here, and what I should get is I should get grease around the plate. These are just the side runners. There's 2 other plates that go around the beam. So anyway, that's that's the splitting head modification. I notice important to get this thing nice and square, in both axes. It's ready to go, get welded up, and here are the heads that I've devised, and I'm just put them to get stacked to here to show you the parts. This stuff is tool steel, so I was not able to use any of my traditional cutting methods. I had to use grinders with cutoff discs and chop saws. So these parts took me a full day, about 8 hours of cutting and of course polishing. So this is a tapered die. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got about just a few degrees. It's not quite square, and so this one I'll be using for drawing steel down, tapering it. Anyway, so the way this system works, these are my removable heads. It's basically out of this thick piece of steel here, and this is the part that gets mounted actually to the press. One is going to be mounted here, and the other one will be mounted on the press with this piece of tubing, heavy gauge tubing behind it. Over here on the other head, this is the other anvil that I'm making, which is twin. So the cool thing about these is, so I've got a flat and a round, and I can move metal directionally this way, but I can also swap the head and have round and flat, or round, pretty much what you mostly do is round and round to move metal very directionally, and then the flat smooth moves it omnidirectional. So that piece is going in. So I've got that anvil set. So I'm making 2 anvil sets to start with, and I plan on making more. And then that brings us to the sides that go right over here underneath, and they take up the room. This is what rubs against the beam. And what I'm adding, because there's too much play, is a little piece of steel right here that's cold rolled. I'll weld these in place as guides to kind of help take the slop out, so I'll have a pretty tight machine. You don't want it too tight, but you definitely don't want it too loose either. So anyway, we'll get this stuff welded up, and once we get this stuff initially welded, I'll take it down and fire up my big welder and get this thing assembled. Anyway, all right, folks, I thought I'd show the progress. So I got the moving head now mounted, and it's nice, and it's got a little bit of play, but not anything bad. So tied it up with the shims, and added, of course, my grease fittings here, so you can see, and she's ready to go. I've got a retractor and put the other plate in and its support, and I'll shoot more video when I get that done. I'll save you the eye flash of watching me weld. Hey folks, on this particular model of log splitter, most of them will have some type of housing on the back that holds, it's basically some spring-loaded ball bearings. It's a locker. The way I defeated that on this system was just to take this set screw right here and push it in, and that keeps the valve body from engaging those ball bearings. So now it goes back and engages the reverse, but it doesn't lock, which is something you don't want in something like this. Okay, quick overview. We're just going to walk down the splitter, how I made it into a proper forging press. The easiest thing was the adjustment on the valve, and coming down here I chopped off the arms for the that eject the wood when you're splitting wood. Coming over here, I modified the head. I cut the splitter off. I installed a groove on the underneath side, put 2 grease fittings, and that's been working out great. On this part right here, I added a shim on the inside that makes the action a lot tighter. Of course, then I welded on this 2-inch block of steel, and then added these interchangeable little anvils. And then on the back side, I added this because there's not any reason to have that much of a stroke on a unit like this. And then welded it up. Obviously it needs some paint because it's rusting, but anyway, when I shot that video of it in action, you noticed I had it throttled down. The action is so fast on it, I don't need to run this thing wide open. About half throttle gives me the right amount of control. The great thing is the pump on this unit is large enough that I could go to a much larger cylinder and go from a 22 ton to a 34 ton without any real expense other than the cylinder and maybe a couple fittings. Right now I don't. I'll play with this for a while. If I need to upgrade it to more crush, then I will. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. Make sure you subscribe and see for me doing a lot of more cool things with this forge. Now that I've got this little baby, my wrists are going to thank me. They already are thanking me. It's quadrupled my production time on projects. Excuse me, it has cut my production time by 75% or something. I mean, I am so much faster with just being able to get the base moving of steel out of the way. Nothing fancy goes on there anyway. It's just me striking it with a hammer. So anyway, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Sorry this video took so long. It's been kind of busy. So anyway, Happy New Year. We'll see you guys soon.